Again, a very good morning to all the students. I hope my screen is visible to everyone. We were there into the last part of the second module, and that was EBIT EPS analysis. As far as the third module is concerned, which is about the investment decision making, many of the functions we have already discussed while doing the time value of money, like CAGR, RRI. So many significant portion of the third module is already over. Some conceptual understanding related to some other capital budgeting techniques will be done in some time to come. That is just a clarification. We were there into EBIT and EPS analysis. So in the last session, I had communicated the importance of this EBIT EPS analysis. EBIT stands for the earning before interest and tax, and EPS stands for earning per share, as we are aware about. Now, we discussed last time around that, sir, why maximization of the EPS should be the goal of the financial analyst while framing the capital structure. Because EPS is the driving force for valuation of the market price of a company. Market prices are basically the output of demand and supply forces in the economy. More and more people will put the orders of particular shares, higher and higher the prices will be. But EPS is always taken into a consideration while deriving the market prices, because investors are rational enough to take the decisions based on some good fundamentals. If they find that company is carrying the good EPS, then obviously the chances are plenty for that company to grow in terms of market prices. So I told you that how various ratios are dependent on the EPS. We discussed PE ratio as well, that how investors take decision based on the PE ratio. If the PE ratio is less, then it may be a positive sign for the investors, and those stocks may be taken as the undervalued, and in some time to come they may get a deserved boost. So EPS should be maximized while considering the capital structure decisions. So that's why there is an analysis called EBIT EPS analysis, which gives us the exact idea that what should we do, whether we should take the debt or we should go with the equity at particular level of EBIT. So that will be stated by us. Once we'll do the practical questions of it, more understanding will take place. Right? So one thing, it just shows us that how we should maximize our EPS. So that's our ultimate goal, to frame a capital structure. There are various advantages, as we have already discussed about it. It helps the firm in determining the optimum financial planning, having the highest EPS. So optimum capital structure can be made by using this analysis. This analysis is useful in comparative evaluation of performances of various sources of funds. So you take the various sources of funds into account, and you see that what will be the impact of those funds in the EPS, and accordingly there may be a corrections in the market price of the company. So this analysis can be useful in that too. EBIT EPS analysis is advantageous in selecting the optimum mix of debt and equity. So that is again related to the capital structure only. It will guide us to create a mix where the EPS will be maximized. Now let's see this example, my friends. All of you will be doing it. Let me just open one Excel file so that we get it in a better way. Just give me a 1 second. ये BA स्टडी फाइल को है ना, अब मेरे को दूसरा कॉपी बनाना पड़ेगा, because that is too heavy now. All these notations and remarks I am making now while doing these questions. that is stored as an image file. So the file size increases like anything, and that's why it is getting hanged. So that is why I have got that reason now, that why this Excel file is getting hanged many of the occasions. That is the reason. It's too heavy now. Okay, so I am going into EBIT, EPS analysis. Well, let me take that example over there so that we'll be able to do some calculations over there only. You may take a snap of it if you want to. It is advisable to take. Okay, just look at this example and try to see that which alternative will generate the highest EBIT. Draw the format that we had discussed last time around regarding finding the EPS, and try to see that which alternative can give you the highest EPS. From this, our further analysis will be dependent. Okay, let's go with the first one. There is one existing EBIT given to you as well. So in a example 1, we have got the EBIT of 20 lakhs. Example 2, we have got EBIT of 40, then EBIT of 20 and EBIT of 40. The total requirement for us for funds is now 1 crore. We want 1 crore rupees of new funds to finance our requirements. And in all four alternatives, we require 1 crore rupee. We already have the existing equity shares in numbers 10 lakhs. So in all four alternatives, existing equity shares will be considered. Now we are opting some type of finance in each of this example. In the first one, we are opting for equity for financing our new requirement of the funds, So we require 1 crore rupees, we'll be financing that through equity. In the second one too, we'll be financing that through equity. In the third one, we'll be financing this 1 crore through debt. And in the fourth one as well, we'll be financing that through debt. And we'll see that which alternative gives us the maximum EPS. If the company goes for equity financing, new 10 lakhs shares needs to be issued at rupees 10. So new equity shares will be issued if company goes for the equity finance. If company opts the debt, then interest rate will be 14%. The requirement of funds is 1 crore, obviously that is given to us, and the tax rate is applicable is 50%. So let's start solving this simultaneously. Case 1, let me use the red color. Red and black are my favorite colors. Some people will be like, हमें क्या फर्क पड़ता है आपका कोई भी favorite color हो. Okay, अब नहीं बताऊंगा. Case 1, then we have case 2, before that we will require some space for heading 2. Just a second. Here I am writing case 1, case 2, 3 and 4. So some of the exercises would be exclusively pen paper exercises, and some of the exercises we do will be Excel oriented data centric exercises. Okay, so here first we have got the EBIT right now. In the first alternative 2040, again we have got 20 and 40. From EBIT, you people are aware that the interest is to be deducted. There is no existing debt we are aware about. So less interest. Now in the first two cases, we are going with the equity. So 1 crore of rupees will be financed by equity. That means there will be no interest, right? And there is no information given to us related to existing interest. So there is no existing interest, and new interest will also not be there because we are financing through equity for the first two alternatives. So interest will be taken as 0 in both case. But yes, in third and fourth, it will be there. So 1 crore of rupees of debentures will be issued, and on that you pay the interest of 14%. So that will be 14 lakhs here as well. And the fund requirement remains constant in the fourth case, right? So that will also be 14 lakhs only. So we get the EBT, earning before tax. फिर से देखो हैंग होना शुरू हो गया. हाँ. So in the first one we have got the EBT of 20 lakhs. Then we have got 40 lakhs. हुआ हैंग हुआ. Give me 1 second please. Okay, I guess my screen is visible. 40 lakhs. Let me write it. My screen is visible, no, guys? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. In the third alternative, we have got 6 lakhs. And in the fourth one, we have got 26 lakhs. Okay, from EBT, we pay the taxes, right, to the government. That is also called as the taxable income. Can also be called as the profit before tax. હરી તારા નામ છે હજાર. એક જ વસ્તુના કેટલા બધા નામ છે. So tax will be on the EBT. What is the taxation rate? 50%. 50% of what? 50% of earning before tax. So tax will be 10 lakhs in first alternative, 20 lakhs in second alternative, 3 lakhs in third, 50% of this, EBT, and 13 lakhs in fourth. So sir, we get profit after tax, or can be called as earning after tax. Let's write the remaining amount: 10, 20, 3, and 13. Now in every case, now there is no preference dividend, please. There is no information related to preference capital given to us. So this entire profit after tax is available to equity shareholders. Can also be called as the earning for equity, because there is no preference dividend, right? Now from that, let me just write the existing shares. In all alternatives, we have already got the existing equity because we have started the business with some amount of money. So that is the equity. Initially, we have taken the equity. So how much existing shares are there? 10 in all alternatives. So I'm just writing 10 over there. And friends, there is new shares as well issued. So when we are financing through equity, only in that situation new shares are issued, right? When we are financing through debt, new shares are not issued because we issue the debentures at that time and we have taken the interest over there. So I guess first two alternatives are financed by equity. So new shares will be there. So we are going to issue 10 rupee share for 1 crore. So obviously there will be new shares of 10 lakhs. I mean 10 lakhs number of shares, right? If you want to raise 1 crore by issuing the 10 rupee share, obviously you will have to raise how many number of equity shares? 10 lakhs. So new equity shares, in the first case 10, in the second case 10. And in third and fourth it will be taken as nil. So let me just write the total equity shares now. For the first one we have 20, second one we have 20, third one we have got 10 lakhs, and fourth one we have got 10 lakhs. Okay, so you divide your profit after tax, in other words the earning available to equity, because there is no preference dividend. You get earning per share, right? Per share earning you get. So I'm writing EPS over there. So that's basically 10 lakhs divided by 20 lakhs. So 0.5 in first one. In second one, 20 divided by 20, so 1 rupee. In third one, 3 divided by 10, so that is 0.3. And in fourth one, 13 divided by 10, so that is 1.30. I hope everyone is there with me till now. यहां तक हर कोई मेरे साथ में है भैया? बता दीजिए थोड़ा सा.
Yes, sir.
Good, thank you. Now try to understand. I am asking a very fundamental question. Say if your EBIT is 20 lakhs, if your current EBIT is 20 lakhs, then which alternative you will select, debt or equity, and why? If your EBIT is, a current level of EBIT is 20 lakhs, then which alternative will you select and why? So whether you go with the equity or you go with debt. First two are financed by equity and third and fourth are financed by debt. Would anyone like to throw some light on this? Some people would have written in the chat box. Let me see that. No one is saying. Okay, my question is very clear. Please try to understand. If your EBIT is 20 lakhs, then which alternative you will select? Now this analysis is entirely based on maximization of the EPS. So in what case you are able to generate the maximum earning per share when your EBIT is 20? So sir, when our EBIT is 20, then I have two alternatives. One is equity, another one is debt. So when I have the EBIT of 20 lakhs, the debt gives me 0.3 EPS per share. And when I have When I go with the equity, then it gives me 0.5 as the EPS. So I can tell you that at 20 lakhs of EBIT, you should go with the equity if your financing requirement is 1 crore, and these are the various variables given to you. Because by going with that way, you will be able to maximize your EPS. Now let me go with the EBIT level of 40 lakhs. If my EBIT level is not 20, but it is 40, at that point of time, which alternative I should go? Can someone tell me?
Fourth case, that 1.3 EPS.
Very true, Miss Vaishali. 1.3 EPS, fourth case. So that means I should go with debt, because fourth case is about debt finance. So you must have observed that it has given you two distinct answers based on your level of EBIT. So at the EBIT of 20 lakhs, you should go with the equity. At the EBIT of 40 lakhs, you should go with the debt. Now that is the point of analysis. If my EBIT is low, then I should go with the equity. If my EBIT is high, I should go with the debt. Now, what is the definition of high and low? There will be a one middle point from where you will be able to see that your current EBIT is high or low. There has to be some point of measurement, no? I cannot say that this 40 lakhs is high. Why this is bigger one? Why this is higher one? Who told you this? Just because it is higher than 20 lakhs, that's why. And who told you that this 20 lakhs is less? So I guess, obviously, I know that there is a one point of middle where there is an indifference point. I am using the words very carefully. Indifference point. That means at that level of EBIT, it is irrelevant whether you take debt or equity. But if the EBIT goes beyond that level, then it will be a very high EBIT. And if the EBIT is lagging behind that level, then it will be considered as the low EBIT. In case of low EBIT, you go with the equity. In case of high EBIT, you go with the debt. Is it clear? Some people will be like, sir, क्या कहा, कुछ समझा ही नहीं. इतना तो मालूम पड़ा कि सर एक EBIT में वो डेट सजेस्ट कर रहा है और दूसरे EBIT में इक्विटी सजेस्ट कर रहा है. ऐसा वो क्यों कर रहा है? तो हमने दूसरा पॉइंट एनालिसिस करके बताया कि सर इसका रीजन ये है कि व्हेन यू हैव द लो EBIT, नो, एट दैट टाइम इक्विटी इज प्रेफरेबल. व्हेन यू हैव हाई EBIT, debt is preferable. That is what we are able to conclude from this. But what is the definition of high and low? Who decides that whether this EBIT is high or low? So there has to be one point of EBIT, which is the indifference point, which is also called as the middle point, where you take the equity or debt. That does not make any difference. So that indifference point we are going to calculate now. So that indifference point is, in this scenario, it lies somewhere between 20 lakhs to 40 lakhs. We at least know the range of it, because at one alternative, debt is preferred, and at another alternative, equity is preferred. So obviously our indifference point is lying somewhere between 20 lakhs and 40 lakhs. That will be a level of EBIT where I will be indifferent, or I may say it will be irrelevant whether you go with the equity or debt as far as the EPS will be concerned. That means in those alternatives, at that level of EBIT, in whatever the alternatives you will go, EPS will come same. So that is also alternative definition of indifference point, that this is a level of EBIT where EPS of all alternatives is same, and that's why it is called as the indifference point. No, when the EPS is coming same, that means it is irrelevant. The capital structure become, now whether you take the debt or equity, that becomes irrelevant for you at that time. And we will be using this analysis to take the decision whether we should go with the debt or equity. We'll come to one point. Once we have this indifference point, no, then we'll compare our current EBIT with the indifference point EBIT. And accordingly, we will suggest that to maximize our EPS, which alternative we should go with, whether with the equity or with the debt. I hope that sounds clear. May I have a confirmation? Should I go with the question of this indifference point now? Any queries, any question? And if there is no queries or question, please put the confirmation through the chat box that you are crystal clear. Received it from Jaidev, from Vaishali, from Hemali, from Miss Veronica, Shreya as well. Nice to see that. Nice to see Shreya after a long period of time. Anyone else there? Okay, thank you. So I'm assuming that you people have got it. Good. So let's go to a question so that you'll be more clear on this. How do you interpret the indifference point? First, let me take you over there. Right. So this is what the decision making point is. If your current EBIT is more than the indifference point, then debt will be feasible. If the current EBIT is less than the indifference point, then equity will be feasible. That's what we had seen in the last question. No, you check over there. People get confused. लेकिन वही तो किया है हमने. See, when our EBIT was 20 lakhs, equity was preferable, right, in the capital structure. And when our EBIT was 40 lakhs, debt was preferable. Now, indifference point is somewhere between 20 to 40. We'll see the calculation of this. So if my current EBIT, say 20, is lesser than the indifference point, which is more than 20, then I should go with the equity. And if my EBIT is more than the indifference point, so because indifference point is below 40 lakhs, no? That means my current EBIT is more than the indifference point, then I should go with debt. So that is the point of decision you should be remembering. Conclusion from this EBIT EPS analysis. Okay, so let's go to the indifference point. Let me take this example to Excel file so that we'll be crystal clear about it. यहाँ पे कैलकुलेशन नहीं होते ना, एक्सेल फाइल में कैलकुलेशन भी हो सकते हैं. Let me insert new worksheet, renaming it to indifference point. Okay, let's start reading the question. राबड़ी देवी लिमिटेड is planning an expansion program. इतना तो expansion हो चुका है, 10-10 बच्चे हैं और कितना expansion करना है. It requires 20 lakhs of external financing, for which it is considering two alternatives. So more funds of 20 lakhs are required, and they have got two alternatives. First alternative calls for issuing 15,000 equity shares of 100 each, 5,000 10% preference shares of 100 each. So issue 15,000 shares for 15 lakhs and 5,000 preference shares of 100, so it will be 5 lakhs. So 20 lakhs will be raised by this alternative. Second alternative requires 10,000 equity shares of 100 each, 2,000 10% preference shares of 100 each, and 8 lakhs rupees of debentures carrying 9% interest rate. So that will again raise 20 lakhs for me, and the earlier alternatives are also raising 20 lakhs for me. Now from this information, I am supposed to see that what is the indifference point, and I'll compare my indifference point with the level of EBIT. The level of EBIT current is not given, but at least we'll be finding the indifference point of these two alternatives. The company is in the tax bracket of 50%. You are required to calculate indifference point for the plans and verify your answer by calculating the EPS. Well, let's go to the formula of the indifference point now. Now, look at this format, the format that we had prepared. Let's ignore whatever was there before the EBIT. After that, there was an interest, right? Because this is EBIT EPS analysis, तो उसके पहले की कोई जरूरत नहीं है, सीधा EBIT से शुरू करते हैं. Then you have got interest, so you get EBT. Then you have got tax, so you get profit after tax. Then you pay the preference dividend PD, so you get earning available for equity. PD वो राहुल गांधी टाइप नहीं है, ये preference dividend है. Then you divide that by number of shares, so you get EPS. So what was the alternative definition of the indifference point? Try to recall that it is a level of EBIT where EPS of two alternatives are same. So EPS of two alternatives should become same. That's why it becomes the indifference point, no? That means at that level of EBIT, whether you go with equity or you go with debt, it will not make a difference. That means the EPS will be same in both. Now, by using this, we'll frame one equation. So I have got two alternatives, right? And how can I put this format in a formula? If I want to put this format in a formula of EPS, how can I put it? So I'm just finding the EPS of alternative 1 by using a formula. So formula is like this: EBIT minus I, interest is taken out, right? Then to eliminate the tax effect, you multiply that with 1 minus tax rate. So you multiply that amount with 1 minus tax rate, so you reach to profit after tax. And from that amount, if you pay the PD, preference dividend, then you reach to earning available for equity. And you divide that amount, the whole amount, by number of shares, you reach to EPS. So that can be a formula of the EPS now. We have just put this format into a formula structure because we want to do some calculations on this. Okay, the second assumption we take is that in both the alternatives, the EPS becomes same. So I am putting equal to, this is one level of one alternative equal to another alternative's EPS, and the formula of that will also be the same. EBIT minus I stands for the amount of interest, multiplied by 1 minus tax rate. So you reach to where? You reach to profit after tax. Then from that amount, you you reduce the preference dividend. So you reach to earning available for equity, and that you divide by number of shares, you get the EPS. हमें ये फॉर्मूलाज रेक्टिफाई नहीं करनी है भैया, ये कॉन्सेप्चुअली समझनी है क्यों हुई है डिराइव. तो ऑल्टरनेटिव 1 और ऑल्टरनेटिव 2 ये दोनों का ईपीएस हमें करना है सेम. So now I'll be assuming this EBIT as X. Because that's what I want to find. Am I sounding clear to all of you here? So I'm assuming this EBIT as X. Let X be the EBIT. And I'll put all the details of alternative 1 over here on the left hand side and details of alternative 2 on the right hand side. And I'll try to find the EBIT level where the EPS will be same. So I'm assuming this EBIT level as an X, right? So X minus the interest of the first alternative. In the first alternative, there will be no interest, because in the first alternative, you go with equity and preference. So interest will be 0. 1 minus tax rate. Tax rate is how much? 50%. So you can write it like 0.5. In the first alternative, do not forget that you have got the preference dividend as well. So preference dividend would be how much? Try to understand. In first alternative, 5,000 preference shares are there of 100 each. So it will be 5 lakhs rupees of preference shares. And on that 5 lakhs, 10% dividend is paid. So 10% of 5 lakhs would be 50,000. That is to be divided by number of equity shares. Now in the first case, number of equity shares would be how much total? 15. We are right now only into a first alternative. Equal to X minus, equal to X minus interest in the second alternative. In the second alternative, you are raising 8 lakhs rupees of debenture carrying 9% interest rate. So 9% of 8 lakhs would be, I guess, 72,000. So let me just write minus 72,000 here. 1 minus tax rate, 1 minus 0.5 minus PD, preference dividend. So in the second case as well, there are few preference shares issued, 2,000 of 100 each. So total money raised from preference shares is 2 lakhs. And on the 2 lakhs, 10% dividend will be paid. So that will be 20,000. And then in the denominator, we'll have the total number of equity shares of the second alternative. Second alternative's total number of equity shares are how many? 10,000. So I'm writing it over there, 10,000. Now left hand side as well, you have got X. Right hand side as well, you have got X. And the fundamental assumption is that the EPS should be same. That is what been taken into account to frame this equation. तो अब तो X फाइंड कर सकते हैं ना अपन. तो अब ये जो X है वो अपन नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में फाइंड करेंगे, ठीक है, क्योंकि ये थोड़ा सा टर्म समय लेगा 10-15 मिनट का. You may do it on your behalf and let me know whatever the indifference point you are getting. So I'll ask in the next session, whenever we'll get it, that what is this X you have got. That will be my indifference point. Now, up to this point of time, there may be a questions in the examination. So I'm sharing the EBIT EPS analysis PPT slides as well as the leverage analysis PPT slides with you. Practical questions, exercise questions are already shared with you. Am I sounding clear to everyone here? And do not forget, the significant portion of the examination may be there from the first module as well. Do not forget that too. Whatever we have done in the first module, do not erase that. Final confirmation through the chat box, please. यहाँ तक सब कुछ clear है? Good. Thank you so much, Mr. Dipesh. Thank you, Titli. Thank you so much, Miss Veronica. Good, Mr. Gaurav. Please put your enrollment number as a mark of your attendance. Yes, I need to share this Excel file as well, as it was earlier stated by Vaishali. Fine, I'll do that. Please put your enrollment number. That's it from my side. Bye-bye. Take care. Sayonara. See you all in the next session. Sayonara.